Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Talking Skritt. I'm your host John, better known as Deo, around Yak Ben, and we have a fantastic show for you. The All or Nothing Living Story patch comes in. ArenaNet loses a game director but gains a new lead game designer. More ArenaNet job postings and much more. But first, let me introduce you to my fellow host. He streams over on Twitch where he answers the age-old question, will he give us all or nothing in this episode? Say hello to Age. I hope it's all.
Yes, I'll give it my all.
Yay!
I'm already here, so I can't give nothing. So
very true. It was a loaded question.
What's up, guys?
Honestly, and as you can see, if you would have gave nothing and not shown up, this would have been a very sad show.
Yeah. Well.
But yes, unfortunately, it's just us two. But might be better in the sense of we're at least this week on on a tighter schedule, so I'm sure next week and whatnot we'll definitely get Robin and Jim's opinions on the story and stuff. Speaking of the story, as we do normally, if you've been here before, you're probably well aware, but if you're a first timer or watching this and are slightly skittish, don't worry if you have not watched the story or played the story or watched it or however you want to consume it. We do try to do the first portion spoiler free, go through all the news bits, then we gotta give another warning at the very end so you can still get all the news and all that fun stuff and not have to worry about, ruining your experience. But at the end we'll kind of give a quick warning, just pause here, get out of the room, whatever you have to do, and then kind of go full into spoilers. So and usually Chad is very good at keeping it spoiler free up until that point. So, and always thank you for doing that as well. But yeah, so let us jump right into it with so the All or Nothing Living Story patch dropped this past Tuesday, and like I said, the All or Nothing Living Story episode we'll delve into later, but we can kind of talk about, since they kind of showed it through the teaser trailer and stuff, just kind of the small things like maybe just the feel of the new map, which was Thunderhead Peaks. I mean, without and I said, I know it's tough without saying maybe things about it, but
no, not really. I think one thing we could say is that they tried to replicate the map from 250 years ago, but just like an aged version of it. And I think they did pretty well. I did feel like I was in that Thunderhead area from back then, and it was really good. They have, of course, all the new things in there as well, the different mobs, and branded. I think I could say branded things because obviously.
Yeah, we're pretty aware that we were heading in that direction.
Yeah, what I really like about this map in particular is that it feels like there's. How to say this? It feels like there's layers of it, because in the other maps it doesn't feel like there was much to it per se. It felt like maybe like a flat land or a hill here, and then there was just a small area, whereas in this map I feel like there's a lot of layers to it in terms of where I can go and things to see and corners to turn and things like that. That's how I felt, versus the other maps in this season.
And yeah, Chad is kind of agreeing that the map is awesome. They're also saying the best meta design. While we're still talking about the map, though, I do want to kind of say about they also talked about guild chat, which I definitely urge people to go watch. It's once again a good behind the scenes talking, but do keep note that they do go full spoilers in it. So definitely go check it out after you've had the chance to play. But they do talk about making the Thunderhead Peaks. I keep wanting to say Thunderhead Keep.
Understand.
But and how they actually took some of the developers into the Guild Wars 1 map. Like they actually had little.
Yeah.
Like they were talking about having a guy, someone that played before, a guide that took them through, and they kind of walked the whole path, which.
Yeah, I believe it was awesome. Lena, actually. Now I think about it, I think it was Lena.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's definitely a awesome way to go back. And like you said, it definitely paid off. It does feel like it really reminds me of kind of the core Tyria maps. And I mean, I you know, I don't want to knock like the POF ones or something, but so much has changed with those. But I don't know, in the core Tyria maps, like especially in the other Shiver Peak areas where you kind of see the dilapidated, um, like ruins of the dwarves and stuff. Like I don't know, it really hit me there. I had that incredible feeling again when we went here. So I think they did an awesome job.
Yeah, and yeah, it does feel like one of the larger maps. Like when I opened it up and it's like, wow, this is a really big map. It feels like a lot larger than usual. So maybe that plays into it as well. But seems like there are some. I didn't spend a huge amount of time in there, but it seems like needs to be more events, less
I was
downtime
gonna say I
between
did
them.
hear that as an issue early, like at least early on, like the first day or something. I heard a lot of people saying uh, that it didn't feel like there wasn't that many events in between. And like I said, I didn't have that much time this week. I basically
Hmm.
went through the story and a little bit of the map, but
Yeah, well, as like one or two, I think, but uh, well, from where I was going anyway, I didn't explore the entire map, probably like half of it anyway. But there was events in the the forge area and the little library section, I guess. But that's about it. And like
yeah,
one or two outside.
yeah,
That
it's
was
definitely an
most.
incredible map. So, and the important thing is if if you have POF, just log in. You get it for free, even if you don't have Path of Fire or any of the expansions. Maybe you just have the core game. Maybe you're on a free account. You can still log in, and it will unlock in the background for your account. And then when you do have Path of Fire, you know you can actually then play it. So just log in and pick it up for free. It's well worth it.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, if I mean, I'm sure we'll talk about it later in the spoiler section, but if you watch the guild chat, the while I've seen the love and dedication go into each of the living story things, I think this one was so important to them, and it's like you can easily see like the love and dedication that went in with every dev that they had on, and like every individual.
Yeah,
So
yeah. You could tell it from the guild chat itself because it felt like more of a labor of love than usual. I guess because of the story in itself, which we'll talk about later. Um, but it did, and the story was shorter than usual, but it felt like there was a lot of connectivity in terms of the map design, monster, the fights design, the new weapons that came in with all of it. It really felt like a milestone, I guess, as it were.
yeah, and I think it'll be easier to talk about it after we are able to talk about spoilers. But that it does bring up an interesting thing of how you said it felt shorter, the living story itself, and I do agree with that. And the more I sat and thought about it, like chat saying it was intense though,
Yeah,
but I also
yeah,
thought of kind of compared to the other ones that felt longer, there wasn't as much busy work.
this is true.
But I don't want to delve any further, and because that's probably where we'll get into the story stuff. So, but yeah, if you kind of want like a more action packed one where it's not just like, okay, go fetch all these pieces and then come back and play the story again, kind of feeling, even though that's part of the story, it's
You have to do the hearts, basically.
yes. Though I do recommend doing some of the hearts because I think the one you first go to, like, just basically being the uh, raising morality.
Oh,
I'll leave it at that. But listen to some of that dialogue; it's just fantastic. But yeah, like chat saying, the second instance was really short. They said felt like 5 minutes. So
Oh,
That's probably actually a strong uh, re- uh a
yeah.
strong review that like chat was saying they never without spoilers they never had the urge to leave their computer during the playthrough, and that is very much true.
Hmm.
You didn't feel like you had downtime.
Yeah, I agree.
Because that was the thing. Like, I'd have to go back and look at my playthrough, but since I try to stream them all, I think they roughly take me around 3 hours or so here or there. I think this one still took me 3 hours. So maybe while it felt short, it I think still had the same. Now I might have messed up here and there or something. I don't know,
Hmm.
but yeah. So I don't know. I think that's all we could really talk about of All or Nothing Living Story episode without delving too much more, but also kind of giving you a hint at the map without talking too much more about what's going on.
Yeah.
Um, but one of the other things that came with the update was the new legendary weapon, Ferris, which I believe someone here crafted, correct?
Yeah. Um, I was skeptical about the bow at first, but after playing around with it a little bit, um, I think it's a really good bow. I think it's really good, especially for guardians, for dragon hunters, just because the aesthetic fits them the most. The aesthetic itself is more like a Protoss weapon from StarCraft, if anyone knows what that is. Um, and I really like the bits and pieces that extend. Like you'll see at the bottom and top of the bow, there's like a flat piece that's hovering above, and it collapses when the bow's put away and things like that. And the interesting thing is when you crit with the bow, a beam of light actually comes down on your target, which is
Oh, so
also
it happens every time you crit. Wow.
every time you crit. Yeah, it's a
Crit
lot of fun.
builds. We need lots and lots of crit builds for your longbow, apparently.
There you go. Uh, it's I think it's a solid bow in my opinion. For anyone who's on the fence about it, I personally think it's a good bow. I still need to make the video. I'll probably spend the day tomorrow doing it and put it out so that people can make their own decision. Uh, but
Yeah, would now that you see it up close, do you think it's just a mix between chaos and a chaos bow and blood,
it's like half and
whatever the
half. It's definitely its own. It's definitely its own weapon, but there are like obviously the light elements that are similar to other bows. But
it
the
shares
frame of yeah,
slight themes. Like
yeah, the theme is the same, but the frame of the bow is very different from what I've seen from other bows. I don't remember seeing any longbows like that, but I don't really play characters with longbows, so
but you made
um,
one anyway.
yeah, yeah. Uh,
Yeah, like chat saying, I think that's what Age was getting at. Was it seems like it might be a perfect dragon hunter weapon if you're running longbow. Oh, or warrior. That's
yeah,
oh, that
warrior.
would look great on my. Oh
Oh
crap!
yeah, dual shot. Actually, the projectiles look like a comet kind of deal. So with a warrior, they shoot two when on their primary fire, so it actually looks really nice.
And I
Uh,
just looked at it. I'm like, that would look good on my warrior. Now I'm like, crap.
yeah. So you have warrior, you have ranger, you have dragon hunter. There you go. Take your pick.
Well, I know. I'll say Rev, but they use short bow. Never mind. But I don't know. I think it does definitely look good and can fit, and we'll have to check it out. They'll have to check it out when your video comes out so they can get a closer look at the fine detail and differences between it and the Chaos bow, which, like I said, just
Yeah.
because they're both light based objects, it's like if that was the case and we couldn't have doubles, I just thought of it. I mean, there goes half the weapons with fire. I mean,
Hmm. The fire weapons, yeah, they all look different, but I think it's because of the frame itself, right?
yeah.
Yeah, the frames look very different, at least from the bows that I'm thinking of, anyway. But yeah, Yeah, it's a good
Like
bow.
chat says, they want it, but they don't know if they want to grind another legendary. Yeah, that's ultimately the tough decision.
Work don't stop. Grind don't stop.
But I don't want to. Chad is saying, although the beam is slightly imbalanced if you play against thieves, since you still see the beam if they go invisible.
Honestly, it honestly I don't see it being a huge problem anyway, because if you are a skilled player, you're already, and like let's say you have rapid fire going and it's going to track the thief through stealth, you already see where your arrows are going to fly to. You already know where the thief's going to be at generally. If you, this helps, I guess, more inexperienced players in that situation.
Hmm.
That would be my 2 cents from that.
Fair
I
enough.
did consider that though after Cutie mentioned it beforehand. I
Hmm.
remember.
Though it definitely does look nice in the end. But
Mm.
oh yeah, that is the tough. That's usually the thing that slows everybody up is farming Dragon Stand for a lot of that kind of stuff.
It's only 3 runs.
Well, there you go. Age made it sound so simple.
Yeah, you
Why
just
doesn't
bring a lot
everybody
of
have
them.
this longbow?
Just bring. Well, it's like 3-4 runs if you have enough machetes. You bring like 80 machetes per run.
80 machetes per run. I think I have 80 machetes on account.
You'll have some left over, but it's like that's just like a safe number.
Uh, but also, and I will probably have to grab opinions from chat, but unfortunately, we haven't had a chance to try it. But the new Fractal, the Siren's Reef, which here's the little teaser that they gave us last week. Um, but it's basically the little blurb they gave us. Shipwrecked and surrounded by an army of ghost pirates, players must work with a crew to break the curse that grips the Isle of Siren's Reef. So from chat, I was like we were before show. QED was actually talking about um, that people are not happy with the dungeon. Now, I've heard a lot of people not being happy with, and I guess we can kind of pair it with this, is they've also brought in like existing mislock instabilities and updating existing mislock instabilities and adding new ones. Now, I've heard people not being happy with those more so than the new fractal, but apparently people are not pleased with the fractal itself either.
Hmm.
I mean, if anybody else in chat has also had experience running it, I'd love to hear your guys' opinions. But I mean, it definitely looks pretty. I mean,
Uh, pretty is one thing. Being the gameplay is
yes,
always the thing that comes up, right? Because uh, I'm actually very interested in this. You mentioned this one doesn't have a CM. I thought they were going to alternate between like CM and
I would say
non-CM.
I did hear that was like the one complaint I did hear from the fractal was that it did not have a challenge mode.
Yeah, I thought they were going to alternate between that, but I don't know. I was thinking more of like how the story plays out and how the mechanics of each fight goes through as you're going through. I don't know. I can't comment on that because I haven't gone
Yeah,
through it yet.
from what
But
chat was telling us, that seemed like the quality of the like fights and stuff weren't there, which that
hmm,
is definitely a shame.
yeah, because the last one, the Dwarven one, had some very interesting mechanics in that last fight. So I was actually pretty impressed by that as well. So I'm actually quite curious how this one is. Um, Also, I'm going over the instabilities and update to existing ones. Do.
Yeah, are there
Doesn't
really any really horrible changes to the existing mislock instabilities, like ones that are just incredibly bad, and then we'll maybe talk about what are some of the worst new
Yeah.
ones.
No pain, no gain just sounds like a pain. Enemies receive boons when hit. Stripping an enemy boon will seal their life. That just seems like a pain in the butt.
I mean,
Um,
it's fitting for the name, I guess. if anything.
I guess so.
But yeah, that is. Ugh. I remember reading that, and I thought on my Revenant, who he's not optimal, but I run Jalis and Glint, and with Glint, it's like, oh boy.
Hmm.
Or no,
Oh,
I was looking at one where isn't there one where it's like they do something to you? Oh no, that it was in the new one where I was
slippery.
looking and I was like, that's gonna be bad, but
Slippery slope. All surfaces are slick. Outgoing stability duration is increased by 20%. So you're playing on ice.
oh yeah,
That's just
that's one of the new ones. Yeah, the slippery slope.
uh, that reminds me of Sab in that World 2.
I mean, since we're talking about the newer ones, like yeah, the one I was looking at, each boon on a player increases incoming strike damage by 5%. That was the boon overload. I just thought of mine. I'm like, I'm gonna get one shot on my Revenant
Jeez. By
because I
five,
usually
that's
have
a bit
loads of.
much. Shouldn't that be one? Because as far as I know, if you're going, because you're gonna have at least 5 boons if you're in a
Uh,
like a fractal
oh,
board.
is it stack or is it?
Each boon on a player increases incoming strike damage by 5%. So that's 5 times 5 is 25%.
Yeah.
It's a bit much.
Uh,
So you just don't. That's
no
uh
boons. Boon strip yourself. Um.
the fact of design is going direction that makes them feel more like a story instance rather than a mini dungeon you enjoy playing it once. There's no fun playing several times. Yeah, I agree. Because fractals were designed for repeatability. Because that's the whole reason they made the system.
Yeah, that was the basically the reason for agony.
Yeah. And one that caught my eye was Vengeance, because that reminded me of Guild Wars 1. And when enemies die, they enhance nearby foes with multiple boons. Doesn't apply to elite foes. Strip enemy boons to inflict them with weakness. Hmm.
Like I said, I would eventually like to see because this is still set where it's like this level instance, fractal level will always have this instability, correct?
Yeah. Oh, Necto's got a point with protection. You kind of negate boon overload past 6.
Oh, yeah, that's
Oh, with 7 boons, it becomes like you actually get affected by it, I guess. Huh. But hmm.
that
For
actually
the
makes that kind of uh, uh, sad that it's like, I mean, I guess you're still getting roughly what a 7% protect or 8% protection.
yeah.
So, but
I mean, some of these I can see they'd be annoying, especially the boon ones. Um, just because everyone has access to like a ton of boons nowadays. Slippery slope, I can see that being annoying for some people. Um, hmm, Sugar
well,
Rush.
I was like QD. That's what Neko was saying, or was it Neko? Yeah, saying about slippery slope that they actually enjoyed it. Which I mean, all surfaces are slick. So if it's a dedicated one, what does slippery slope land on? What fractal? Fractal is the question. Because like I was saying, eventually I'd like to see where it was almost like, oh, I just figured out a story reason why it could happen was maybe we have another election or somehow, um, oh, what's his name for the Black Line Train? Evan Nashblade somehow either gets control of Lion's Arch or for some reason tries to get back at Ellen Keel for winning and maybe get like casinoifies the mists and maybe creates this like thing where you know it gives you a random instability, maybe the dungeon you can pick and or maybe you can only set the level or something like that where it kind of creates like a randomness to it. Maybe it'll make it a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I can kind of see, it kind of goes back to what you were, what
I
we were
feel
talking about,
like
where it kind of makes it feel like a story mission, where it's like, it's always this specific one no matter what. Like,
Yeah. I don't think like the story part is always fine, right? But the gameplay is more what people are going to go for. They want to go in for the challenge, right? And the higher you go, the better the challenge it should be. So, um, hopefully, they improve the fights to be challenging. Again, I don't know the fights themselves or what they contain, and the instabilities kind of have to reflect properly a decent challenge and not be like just the most annoying thing ever. That's that's the only thing. That's my suggestion from the limited amount of knowledge I have.
yeah. Um,
Uh,
but yeah, all in all, it seems like people aren't that satisfied with the. Well, surprisingly, I knew people weren't happy with the challenge mode not being in the new Fractal, but I didn't know overall it just didn't feel up to quality according to chat and I guess the internet. But if you've had a different experience, do let us know. But yeah, I did know a lot of people weren't a big fan of like the instability changes, which
yeah, but instabilities are so difficult. I was actually surprised that they were gonna add 9 all at once. Um, because you're trying to think of some little caveat, some sort of like condition that makes a fight more interesting or challenging. And I don't know. It seems like with some of them, they just are extremely annoying. Especially like slippery slope with like a small platform, and then you have to dodge like a huge alien mechanic. Like that's just annoying. Um, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
even chat's bringing up I guess old bugs that have been an issue at least for 6 months that haven't found a fix. No, I mean, granted, that doesn't mean that they're not working on one. That might just mean they haven't found one. I'm sure they're aware of, the issue.
Those are the worst bugs ever,
Yeah.
ever. I've actually encountered a bug that I found like in September, and I'm fixing it this month. So yeah, uh,
Especially in a game that's spaghetti code. It's like, oh,
yeah,
we found a fix, but how does it out? Is it more valuable to have that fixed, or what did it break? Like, it's like, oh,
yeah,
well, they can't go into like any instances now, or like, it's like, well, that can't be a thing. So there's always that issue too. So I'm sure they're probably working on it. It's just they haven't found one that you know
yeah.
works.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
But
Oh well.
so, oh, maybe this week we'll try to get into the Fractal, and maybe when Robin and Jim come back, we'll be able to talk about it more. If depending on what we have news wise next week. But any other thoughts on just kind of the stuff that was promised in the trailer? I guess is how we're gonna section that off. Like, any other thoughts on the new map, the legendary weapon, or the Fractal and the instabilities?
So story and map delivered, in my opinion. The bow is pretty decent. The new Legend on bow is decent. Fractal, I've yet to explore, but it seems like it is not up to par what people expected. Um, I'll see for myself, and I'll let you know next week how I feel completely.
And some of the general stuff that came with the patch. Basically, they made the default setting for music volume in sound options. It has been adjusted to match that of other category defaults. And they say it is recommended that players click restore defaults in the sound options panel to update this setting. And it has, and I guess this is without spoiler. This has been kind of I think they said this in the guild chat, is the go-to kind of catchphrase or something of this story is turn on your music sound and stuff like that for this episode when you get to play it. So
I always do. and
Yeah,
it's always worth it.
especially this time. This fantastic. But like I said, we'll gush about all that stuff later. And like chat was saying, the tooltips for items stored in material storage will now show how many of that item are in your material storage, which that is fantastic. So like if you highlight over bloodstone dust, it's gonna say you have what
200
250
million.
in your out of 250 in your bank or in your storage, but it'll also say, in my case, you probably have like 10,000 in your in your bank. Like,
Yeah, that's a really nice change, actually.
yeah,
Because because when I had to store all the mithril and elderwood in my bank because I couldn't store it in normal slots. So I'm like, I wanted to sell some off to offset, like, just have enough for legendary, but sell some because people are making legendary. So I'm like, I have to make sure I don't oversell. So I'm always hovering over. So that's pretty nice.
those were some really nice quality of life changes.
Mm.
Also, they added some more stuff to the guaranteed wardrobe unlock, or the changes to it. The maximum rarity for equipment skins has been increased to exotic, and many older exotic items have been added. Future updates to the wardrobe unlocks will continue to add older exotic items beyond this initial set. Over 600 new items have been added, mostly weapons and armor skins, but new dyes, gliders, outfits, finishers, and minis have also been added. So
Nice.
awesome.
Nice.
So you're saying people could easily get Volcanus? Like,
um, mostly weapon and armor skins, which is, I think, a nice caveat. So at least if you're buying Black Lion chests, you can get more weapons and armor skins. Also,
but
try, like, this is something that I haven't done yet, but I'm going to go through and get all the basic skins
I was gonna
because
say
that,
I've been always saving my guaranteed wardrobe unlocks because I remember seeing that list when it first came out of like, these are the easy things you can get from like karma vendors for like 100 karma, so you don't waste it. I've never gone through and did it, so I never and I'm like, I really want to, but not. It's like, my luck, I'll get the thing that's like, you just saved 480 karma. It's like, wonderful.
yeah, I saved like 50 copper on like a basic pistol thing. Like, well, crap, I didn't think that would happen.
Yeah,
So, just to let you know, if you have the patience, go through and get that stuff done.
definitely. Oh, and chat was saying apparently that little quality of life up. Oh, I think the guaranteed wardrobe unlock thing, it was a fix. It was
Yeah.
actually released in a previous patch, but just didn't work till now. Which, hey, it works.
Yeah.
So at least we have it now and it's functional. But yeah, any other thoughts on the general stuff from the patch?
I like the material storage quality of life change. That's really good.
But you were kind of talking about being able, it's kind of nice getting those guaranteed wardrobe unlocks out of the Black Lion chests and stuff like that. Well, kind of speaking of Black Lion chests, relatively in that realm. No, we're not going to the gem store already. Hold your horses. Crystin Cox.
How are you segueing this? What?
Crystin Cox.
Wait, how are you? No, I don't get the segue.
You were talking about the guaranteed wardrobe unlocks in the Black Lion chest.
No, you can't do. That's not.
What? That's a. Come on, that one was easy. Always the best segues and jokes when you have to explain them.
Keep going.
But yeah, so apparently Crystin Cox left ArenaNet, and apparently that wasn't even that was just kind of recently figured out. That wasn't far stretch. That is right on the nose. Anyway, I don't want to fight about that. We got plenty to talk about. We'll fight about it during after show. But Massively OP, funny enough, put out an article, and we'll throw it in chat. And of course, if you're watching us on YouTube, you should be able to look in our description and find all the links and stuff. They were actually saying that they discovered this, that Crystin Cox actually left ArenaNet in November of 2018, but they just only found out about it when they were kind of searching for another article that they were going to write. But apparently now she has been credited as a Microsoft rep for Project Horseshoe. But yeah, her recent focus, like her focus at Guild Wars 2, for people to know, and why my transition was so great, was about basically monetization strategies in Guild Wars 2, which really a lot of what she brought to the table was the kind of loot box and stuff like that, which I remember there's articles in the past where she actually defended loot boxes, especially ones like Guild Wars 2 does, which I think we've all said in the past. Guild Wars 2 does have a better loot box. Still is a loot box, but it is one of the better ones.
Yeah. I feel like one day we just need like a 3-hour show on loot boxes. Like not even talking script, just like a
is it like one of the things of like, we're so sick of talking about this, we talk about it for 3 hours, get it out of our system, we never talk about it again.
Yeah. Well, until like something huge happens, obviously, but yeah, I think we need a Mad Realms podcast, like this general game. That'll be our general gaming podcast.
We're just talking about loot boxes.
Well,
that is kind of how gaming's going. But anyway, we're rambling. But funny enough, if you go to some of the earlier episodes when Royby was still in the show, like he referred to the things as Cox boxes because she was kind of an integral part of. I think she originally came from NC Soft, if I'm not mistaken. It was placed there.
She's been around for like, I think about 5 to 7 years, I want to say. It's like she was like very under the radar. But yeah, good luck to her.
Yeah, definitely. I wish her luck. And while I don't agree with like loot box mentality and stuff, I mean, that is one way the gaming industry is trying to go. But we're not going to go into that whole thing. But it is interesting. Chad is saying they thought there was only basically one person at a time that works there, like in the sense of, because I think she was game director. I forget what her exact title was.
Yeah, it was a game director.
But people, and like they're saying they're a little confused by, also at the time Mike Z should have been the game director because he was announced a little bit ways back leading into POF and stuff. Mm-hmm. But ArenaNet did confirm with Massively OP saying that Cox is no longer with the studio, but declined to comment further about the impact on the company, except to note that Mike Z is also still a game director on the title. ArenaNet also declined to discuss how many game directors it has, but I mean, yeah, I guess you can have. It's probably one of those things of game director in the sense of maybe what their skills are, in that like Mike Z might focus more on the game, whereas a person like Crystin Cox will, like they said, focus on the monetization strategies.
Yeah, it's I actually don't know what facets like that game director could take, so might be worth researching that. But we always thought it was a little odd to have 2 game directors when we heard of Crystin Cox as a game director, right? So, and we heard Mike Z. So that was very odd to hear about. But maybe game studios have 2 game directors, one for monetization and one for the game itself these days.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, especially when games are becoming more and more of like trying to encompass so much. I mean, we talked about in the past how it's not an uncommon thing where companies will hire like people that are well versed in like economies, like rising and falling, and manipulation. Like, I mean, we've talked about way in the past about the trading posts and stuff like that. It's like, it's not uncommon. So they are creating like real living worlds, and so it's, I guess, becoming more and more of a heavier burden and task.
Hmm.
Especially not only you are you trying to create this world, you're trying to sell it to someone. So
Yeah, and shareholders.
exactly.
Uh, which again opens the bag of worms. So I'm just gonna.
um, but you know, like I said, we wish her the best of luck, and can't wait to see what Project Horseshoe is for Microsoft. That's interesting. Uh, hopefully you don't need a phone. Um, but you know, we're talking about uh different positions at ArenaNet. Apparently Jennifer, oh boy, Sherrill. Did I say that right?
We apologize if we pronounce your name
Yes, I
incorrectly.
greatly apologize, because as someone that regularly gets their name said wrong, last name said wrong, I do apologize. But they joined ArenaNet as a lead game designer, and we'll throw out their uh, tweet that they had. Of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, links are in the description. But um, apparently, they've been waiting long to announce, but they um, accepted the job as lead game designer at ArenaNet. And what's interesting about it, which I was not aware of it, apparently she was outspoken about and of how game devs should be treated better, and not given into hatred by players, which I'm assuming this is in relation to all the Jessica Price stuff.
Yeah.
There was so much going on, like, it's not a dig at her or something. I just, I more for me, I know I was looking more at what people were saying rather than who was saying the kind of stuff.
Hmm.
So I could have read one of her, response tweets, but apparently, she was outspoken, and by the sounds of it, was kind of on the side of Jessica Price and against ArenaNet for the whole firing issue. But what's in, and people are wondering, well, now you're working for them, you know. I think even she says, I'm sure you think I might be a hypocrite or something like that, but she actually goes on to kind of say, which is kind of interesting. Uh, they had a talk, and they actually talked about that, issue and the whole discussion about it. But she was saying the one reason she was agreed to go work for them was because they kind of brought this up into the forefront and address it, not let it just kind of fester and kind of be there. Which, kudos on ArenaNet, and kudos on Jennifer for sitting down and actually having a what sounds like a good formal discussion, and trying to figure things out.
Yeah, I think it always comes down to like criticism is not a bad thing, right? It's just we constantly criticize Skill vs. Suit, like the game itself, what we think about the game, whether we like aspects of it or whether we don't like aspects of it. It's finding that balance of like, it's finding out when there's a difference between criticism and straight up just bashing a game,
Yes.
right? Without, and you need to, giving constructive criticism helps not only help you look like a respectable person, but it also helps the people taking that criticism into question and actually iterating over that and improving. So if Jennifer feels like she can offer criticism to help not only the game, but also the lifestyle of game developers at ArenaNet, I don't see that as a bad thing.
Yeah, I 100% agree, and that's why, I'm really glad she's going on as lead game designer, and hopefully can make some positive waves in the not only the gaming community surrounding Guild Wars 2, but maybe even at ArenaNet itself. So,
Yeah.
um, but hey, do you want to be part of that potential wave of good vibes? Well, are you good at Unity? What?
Oh wow, that works like twice because of damn it. All right, go on.
Well, ArenaNet is looking for some for Unity engineers. There was a post on Reddit. I believe it's eventually to their um, job listing and stuff like that. But ArenaNet posted a job specifically for a senior lead Unity engineer. They are looking for 6+ years in game development experience using Unity. So, I mean, if for some reason you're watching this and you're pretty well in there, like have the experience and maybe
Hmm.
looking for a new change, and but like we say always with this stuff, just don't be like just because you're a fan sign up. Please actually do have the experience or something to back it up.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of curious because I don't know what is there aspects of Guild Wars that runs Unity? Does anyone know?
Well, a lot of people were speculating that this might lead more into whatever, because they've asked in the past about mobile development and stuff like that.
Ooh.
I know a lot of people
Yeah.
are speculating on if that could lead into potentially whatever that may be, which then leads back into way, like, even before it launched. They were gonna have that phone app that accompanied the game, like you could see a map in real time and try to help your friends, be like, there's an event over here, like run over here and draw on their map or something like that. I don't I
Um,
Who knows, it might involve portions of that, but I'm kind of curious to see if, but yeah, a lot of people think it's connected to the mobile
hmm.
stuff.
It's
Guild
gonna
Wars
be
3. What, you don't have a cell phone?
it'll be the next ARPG MOBA FPS battle royale game.
War World is, yeah, like chat said, Guild Wars 3 will be mobile. Please no. Um, there we go. War World will be exclusively on mobile.
If it was on PC and mobile, that's fine. It's fine by me. But I can't play on phones. I just can't.
Me neither. Mine's not powerful enough.
I have big
Um,
hands. Uh, but it could be. What have you ever thought about Arena making like a second game entirely?
that is the weird thing. It like flashes across my mind every once in a while,
Well, a
but
third
yeah, I
game
can't.
technically.
Well, I think what you're saying is something that's a different IP,
Yeah,
right? Like I, oof.
I don't know. I don't think they will just yet, but that'd be kind of neat. I wonder what they would come up with.
Yeah, I wonder if they would stick even with the same genre,
Yeah. Hmm.
or would it be another multiplayer game, or would they maybe do a single player RPG or single player game in general? But yeah, that
Yeah. I mean,
will it be on the phone? Will it be on the
yeah,
will it be on consoles? Will it be
I think it'd be really cool if they could make like a single player game.
Yeah, that's like Netco
Honestly.
saying they think they're working on something besides Guild Wars 2, which does make sense. I mean, like H said, he was like, "Does Guild Wars 2 use Unity?" Which, yeah, I don't think so. So
Yeah. It's
unless
not
they're
gonna.
just eventually going to be like, "Yeah, we just transferred everything in Guild Wars 2 to Unity," I mean, that would be incredibly weird and a huge undertaking that would be insane to do. But
Yeah. Hmm.
oh yeah, I'm curious if people are watching. What you do raise a good question. What would be, if it's a new IP? Tell me, what do you want the setting for ArenaNet's possibly new game, and what type of game should it be? Like what genre? I mean, we know it's gonna be battle royale on the mobile, but what's the setting, right? Uh,
I
but
would
yeah,
want.
go ahead.
Uh, I was kind of thinking Titan, honestly. If they could do something like what Titan was supposed to be.
Oh, kind of like a. Well, wasn't that supposed to be like almost like an MMO shooter?
Yeah.
So almost.
Maybe, well, kind of like a, well, maybe they could keep it fantasy, but like a semi-futuristic type of fantasy. I think they can pull it off.
So you're saying they should develop Warframe?
Well, Warframe isn't because like you can like in the way I'm picturing it is that you can have not just like you have various weapons, but it's not like a loadout like gun, primary, secondary, and melee like Warframe does. It's just like you just have a weapon set and then you have like just defined moves and things like that. It's like an MMO, but oh maybe it's hard to explain. I need like a spreadsheet or something.
Guild Wars Tyrion Commando. Yeah, maybe maybe the commandos as
Oh,
an a joke or a hint at the game that they're working on. It's like a
card based like Hearthstone is entirely feasible, I think.
I wouldn't be surprised, especially if they might try to not fully separate themselves from their IP. Like, I mean, we've seen it done
Yeah.
with Hearthstone itself. What was it? Scrolls for Elder Scrolls.
Legends. Yeah, what's it called? Elder Scrolls Legends, was it?
I thought it was just called Scrolls. I could, or no, that was the Minecraft thing. Yeah, theirs was Legends. Sorry. Look, for once, I actually got that confused. Look, they should have won the lawsuit. Um, but Skritt Crush. What?
So Candy Crush, but with Skritt.
Did you
Oh,
get,
actually that works because shinies. Yeah.
yeah, I was just gonna say shinies. There you go.
Wow. All right. That's a few good.
I hope if there's an ArenaNet dev like watching, they go on Monday and go to that team and go, well, we just got like 5 new phone app things that we can do. Skritt Crush.
Oh man.
But yeah, no, I can't wait to eventually see it. I mean, if they're still looking for people, it sounds like it's still very much in the early processes. I mean, so who knows? Maybe we'll see something someday. And I wonder if they'll pull the Blizzard stuff of like integrate, like, oh hey, if you buy this game, you get a little cosmetic thing in this game, which I hate now in Blizzard because I don't. It works. I hate it because it works.
It does work, yeah.
But any other thoughts on the new opening and possibly what new game?
I need to do research on Unity and ArenaNet and see what the history is behind that.
But yeah, like we were saying, they could intertwine and sell stuff. You know, something you probably couldn't find in the gem store, so you'd have to buy that game.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of the gem store,
oh, I fell for it. Damn it! Oh,
I was waiting to see if when it would
click.
Thank you.
Damn it!
Thank you always to Dolphy.net. Check out Dolphy.net so you can spend your gems more wisely. First up, we have the Shiver Peak Mount pack, which it is 1,600 gems. It has 5 mounts. It is once again leaving out the roller beetle, which I definitely want to see how you guys feel. You know how you feel about that, how Chad feels about that. But as you kind of see here, it's more of a basic version of a mount with kind of like Nordic armor. Or I don't say Nordic, but you know, like more like the Delgamore armor and kind of stuff like that with like the fur on it and all that stuff. But yeah, once again, does not include a roller beetle mount skin.
That's actually very interesting. I thought it would include roller beetle, but I guess it's because it's not core Path of Fire. Maybe it's not.
Maybe.
But do they have a Griffin one?
Yeah, there's a Griffin one in there, but that is core Path of Fire. But you know, that could be also along the lines of, though maybe they feel might be a tougher sell. Like if you don't have that living story thing, it still unlocks the skin for you. just not you can't use it until you have it, but maybe they feel that might be a tougher sell since they probably would have to up the price. I don't
Just do two. I would just do two packs.
but like chat says, it's ArenaNet's fault. Chat never rides their beetle because there's just not. It's just not pretty
Uh,
enough for Fashion Wars.
yeah, I like the Springer skin. It's pretty nice.
Mm.
Um, I'm kind of surprised that they don't, because my solution would be to just have a mount pack with just the 5 and then have another with the roller beetle. But I guess that gets confusing if they add more mounts or something like that.
Yeah, that could eventually get yeah
Yeah, that can
annoying.
get really messy, I guess. Yeah, but still. Oh, it has
Yeah,
like a little symbol when you pop onto it too. Or is that?
yeah, they really do like, especially, and you'll see eventually when they get to the jackal, like when it goes through, uh,
Yeah.
when it blinks or whatever, it has like little runes that come off of it. They're really nice looking.
Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah. I
I
do
like it
like
for the
the.
simplicity of them, but also have like an armor on them if you want that aesthetic.
Hmm. Yeah.
Chat saying they should at least do something like release a few beetle only mount packs just to get the poor thing caught up. I was actually thinking that originally when it did that. I was like, oh, maybe they'll backtrack and do like bundles like that, or but yeah, unfortunately they never did. But I
Yeah.
guess that could also be an issue because maybe you don't want all of them, or you didn't buy all the sets for certain ones. I don't know. I'm sure if that was an option, they thought of the pros and cons. And
Yeah, it's kind of like where do you put it? Because they're only standalones, which are legendary ones. We have the ones in the licenses, and we have the packs. There's not really any other. There's not like one that's separate. That's cheaper than 200, no, 2,000 gems. Um, and the only way you could get a single beetle mount skin is through the license, and you have to do the select one, obviously.
chat saying they're still curious about the elusive second mount this season statement they made during their anniversary stream, which I think we could definitely probably use as
I
a
think.
pondering thing for during the spoiler section because you know we'll definitely get all to that. I feel like anything else I say could be,
All
but
right.
yeah. So you can pick this up for 1,600 gems. Do remember that these are just skins; they don't unlock the mounts for you or anything like that. You do need Path of Fire to utilize them. I think Chad reminds me every time. I guess you cannot buy these if you don't have Path of Fire, so you might not even be able to see them if you have a free account or anything like that. But you definitely pick them up if you have Path of Fire and if you like the look of them and how they die. Also, that came with the update was everybody's favorite Krakatork die kits, and you can kind of see, of course, you can get them for what is it? 1 for 125, 5 for 500, and 25 for 2,500 gems. And this does once again have like a pool of what 20 or so dies, and these ones are the exclusive ones that you can only get through these kits. The other ones are random ones that you can get normally in game through normal in-game means. They are tradable, so you could find these on the trading posts. But the colors you can see here are Shattered, Fear, Branded, Crystal, Brandstorm, and Arcane. And I mean, it isn't like the birthday ones where you can actually select it. It's randomly gives it to you. So I mean, we've talked about it many times in the past. I doubt our opinion has changed on it. I mean, have you picked up one age? Are you going to surprise me here?
I have not. I honestly have enough dies to satisfy my color scheming, unless I want like a specific color die for a specific armor piece that has a specific material. Um, I don't go out of my way to get dyes. But
Yeah.
there's some color people. There are people who enjoy collecting all those various colors. So
And like Chad says, it does look, they look very nice. It's just the acquisition to get them. It's like good luck if you're trying to do it that way.
yeah, the 299.
I'm probably the same way. I do probably use a finite amount of dies. I'd like to see that like statistic of across like all the accounts, like how many people like just stick to like maybe only like 10 or so out of all the dies they
Actually,
have.
actually don't. I have different color schemes for all my characters. And they do use various different dyes. If I use like 3 or 4 different black color dyes, 3 different white dyes. Red dye it depends on, So hmm, it's to each their own, right?
Hmm. Also that came with the new update, a new type of blackline chest. They renamed them to the Roaring Dragon chest.
There's
You can
our
still use the same key, so if you've been saving keys, that's not how it works. You're still fine. um, but there's just new materials in it. Guaranteed to get the Blackline material bag that is from Thunderhead, which I believe just kind of has like crafting materials and stuff like that. Some uncommon stuff: the Iron Beast Greatsword and the Spectral Weapons collection, which are kind of things that we've had in the past. But the new item that's exclusive to it is the Roaring Dragon Glider, and you can kind of see it here as Dolphy shows it off. And boy, does it look nice. I mean,
yeah, it's it's pretty good.
yeah,
Um,
unfortunately, you could only get it in the Black Lion chest,
yeah.
but it
Uh,
is an uncommon drop, and everybody knows how likely that's gonna be.
5 to 80
Yeah.
boxes,
Uh,
and that's like on an average, right? You could
yeah.
easily go to 120. But whoa, the die schemes on those are kind of cool too.
Yeah, it dies really nicely.
Hmm. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. Oh, no. I kind of want that from ArenaNet.
I honestly, I've been torn. It's like I kind of want that on there. If maybe it let me keep my back piece because I have the Glint Wings back piece. Like, even though it wouldn't let me use like, because I already used the glider version of it, but I do like this for obvious reasons. Because like Chat's saying, it's Glint. It really reflects the Revenant. Like especially like I run Glint Chalice. I mean, this would be perfect for me. I
Mm-hmm.
make my character look like I'm a weird looking dragon, but
The
what I'm
spike
gonna do
bot.
is I'm definitely gonna do my key runs, but I don't think I'm gonna throw money at this because I wish it wasn't in the Black Line chest.
Mm-hmm. Gotta get them somehow.
Yeah, but
He sounds so sad.
yeah, because I'm like I would love to throw tons of money at it. Unfortunately, I don't have tons of money to throw at it.
Would be I would like one of these skins that kind of like this, but when you change like the primary color scheme, it kind of changes the elements as well. So if you put more like a red, you have fire trails. If you put blue or white, you have like this ice trail or a light trail for white, like a shadow trail for black. Oh, that'd be so cool. But that
And
probably.
Chad is saying someday it'll be in the gem store. Problem is not really. All the things that usually are in the gem store or in the Blackline chest, they eventually go to the statuette thing, which granted for every chest you open you guaranteed get one, but it,
Hmm,
I
that's
still
something to figure
wish,
out. Yeah.
yeah, and I still wish it was like, it seems like they kind of took the ESO idea where like I brought up the one time where it was like it basically allows an end game, but I wish it was at the time. Like that's how ESO's crates do it. Like I want this item, well I can start throwing money at it. Eventually I can get enough of the like crate currency for this Blackline statuettes to just buy it outright.
Mm-hmm.
Here it's like I can buy it outright eventually, possibly in 3 to 6 months, whenever they decide to put it in. Who knows? So it's I just wish it was more current for the stuff that's in there.
Mm.
But maybe one day we can dream. And that's one possibility. Like Chat's saying, there are in-game ways to get the keys, and like I said, I'm going to do my key runs. I don't know if I'm going to be map completing hardcore or anything, but yeah, I'm not going to try to throw money at the crates personally. But if you do, rub it in. Let me know how soon you got it, or make me feel better and how long it took you.
I do like it. I don't know if I'll get keys. We'll see.
You can always gift me keys, Age. Look, that's the happy medium there. You can. I don't know how to spend that actually. It's like you're spending the keys, but you didn't think you're gonna use it. So, I'll fly around you with it and make you feel better.
Thank you.
But also in the Blackline chests, as a rare drop, you can also get the pack fleet weapon collections. So another skin that's been out before, but
Sure.
So any other thoughts on the gem store itself?
No.
Well, last up before we get to spoilers, let's talk about Community Corner. And we have once again Kroof. She made another fan-made elite spec thing, and we talked about the video last week of the Summoner. This one was the Conqueror. So just do keep in mind this is not an actual build. This isn't like an in-game thing, or wasn't like released by ArenaNet. This isn't like the new elite specs that are coming with the expansion that's nowhere near. Like this is just fan-made, ideas and generated type stuff. And here's the link for if you want to check it out. But so I think this one was a engineer type, if I'm not mistaken.
Let's double check. It does feel like one, like a Warriors take on it, I guess.
But yeah, it definitely looks interesting, and like I said, I really like this. I think it's a. I think it's a Guardian, actually. My bad.
It seems like it's also a Juggernaut type of spec. Now I think about it, because there's a lot of. Because you use a flail, but it's like when you get attacked, you break out, or you're gonna do a stun, you break out and do something. So it seems like a Juggernaut spec. Well, which Conqueror kind of works too. So.
Yeah, like I said, ultimately I just like this because, I mean, it's a fun way of thinking of new and interesting elite specs and where they could go with it. And but I would definitely recommend checking it out and checking out I think they've only had one other one, but she also talks about how you can submit your thoughts on one, and maybe get yours put into a video, which
I'll send her a thief one.
But and I'm still going with my summoner build. I know last week a lot of people in the YouTube discussions were telling me no, but it's great. I want my actual summoning build for Elementalist. But anyway, I think that is it for Community Corner. And we'll do a little. Should we do a little quick outro for people? Okay, we'll do a little quick outro. this is also the time if you want to pause and all that fun stuff. We will be going into spoilers. I'll give the quick little warning after the outro, like for people. But yeah, we will be going to full spoilers, so definitely stick around if you want to talk about that. If you don't, pause here, come back when you play it, and we'd love to talk to you about it. But Age, where can the people that don't want to be spoiled find you?
You can find me on Twitch and YouTube at Night Road streams. I'll put out a video for Ferris sometime tomorrow or Monday. Ideally tomorrow, Sunday. We'll see.
Such tension. All right, awesome. And you find me at simply_Dale on Twitch and Twitter, and I have actually streamed a little bit decently this week. Of course, streamed a new Living Story and all that stuff, but you don't want to know about that yet, apparently, if you're trying to avoid spoilers. But if you are just popping at the very end, like or right now, just heads up, we're going into spoiler territory, so if you're trying to avoid that, I'll change everything here so it's pretty obvious. But if you do want to watch this, we do highlight it on Twitch. If you go to twitch.tv/MAADrealms, 2 A's in the MAAD, or if you go to YouTube, youtube.com/MAADrealms, or also our own website, MAADrealms.com. That's 2 A's in the MAAD, and that's where we have everything in nice one little tiny compact bow there for you. That's where we have the audio version of this podcast. That's where we have Vote to Kick, which is the show Malthanis does. I know they did Vote to Kick Fallout 76, so that's definitely gonna be interesting, especially with the past news that dropped literally after they did the show. They love making our lives difficult, but yeah. So this is your last chance as we get into spoiler territory. I'm going to change the title over to spoilers. So if you're trying to avoid it, this is the moment to come back when you're good and ready. So I'll even put it at the front too, so people can.
Yeah, at the front. I was about to say.
So information. All right, so we are in spoiler territory, and this is your last chance.
We're good?
And we're good. We're in it.
Okay, so we lost. I think I'm starting off with that. We lost.
I was going to start with, oh my God.
But I think that was the most it wasn't necessarily surprising. It was kind of shocking and very interesting. No, it really wasn't surprising for me.
My heart broke.
Yeah. Okay, here's the thing, though. Every single time we fight someone big, whether it's Balthazar, Mordramoth, Zaitan, we always won. There was always just a plan and everything just fell into place, and conveniently we won. And when I was going through the story for All or Nothing, it's like, oh, everything's falling into place like so easily. This is very odd. This is very weird. It's like I don't understand what's gonna happen. Like something at the end of this episode is going to happen. So I'm like thinking in the back of my head, it's like either we're going to win and something bad's going to happen, or we lose. But I'm like, it's more likely something bad than happen. But we actually lost, and that was the thing that got me. Because when I'm hitting that Krakatorik's eye, and it's like at 30%, I'm like, yeah, next fate dropped. It's like cutscene. It's like, oh no, this is not good. I didn't kill him. And
go ahead.
I found the concept of losing finally a huge fight, like actually losing, and just like not knowing what to do, having Aurene getting spiked through, and everyone's just at a loss at what to do. I think that is the most compelling thing. And at the end, when they put us back into the map, there's usually dialogue. There's usually people talking, things like that. There was nothing after that. We just got shot back and like, that's the end of the story. Go enjoy the map. It's like,
I
and you're
mean,
just left there.
this may make me sound like a horrible person. Like you said, now that you said, Aurene, basically the overarching thing is apparently it seems like Aurene's visions were true that she showed us in the previous episodes. We didn't, we're licking our wounds. But yeah, why couldn't it have been Timey?
But Zekriox told me in my chat, it's like they pulled an Infinity War where we basically lost.
That would be interesting because I mean, if we truly pulled an Infinity War, for people that are familiar with the whole snapping in comics and more than likely how it's gonna go, if it does parallel that would be interesting, because then it could still be Timey.
But the thing is, I was thinking about it,
and I love Timey. I mean, I love her snarkness, but
yeah. But the thing, we did we really lose? We lost that fight. I don't know if we necessarily lost the entire war per se.
Yeah, we lost the battle, but did we lose the war?
So here's some facets that came up. All right, in my stream, I think it was QD actually mentioned it. So Aurene got spiked through, but she ate Joko in episode 3. Now, does she have the ability to revive herself like Joko? That's one thing that came up.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, I think the best thing right now is to probably go through each thing and then lead up to it, like, because I think there's a lot of important stuff that happens leading up to it as well.
Yeah, that's true. We did lose against Balthazar, but it wasn't as the scene wasn't as impactful.
No one died. Well, I guess we did.
We did.
A lot of good that did.
Yeah, and then if you think about it, Aurene had the vision of her getting spiked through, right? But there was nothing after that, and there's always. And that leaves room for interpretation of what can happen. Because, yes, Aurene got spiked through. Aurene could have potentially died. She could have been potentially... Well,
and this is kind of why I want to lead up to it, because I think there's a lot of important bits beforehand, too, that might give us outs. Like Chad is saying, Wooden Potatoes made a good point. And I purposely haven't tried to watch or look at any other theories because I don't want to be like... Personally, for me, I don't want someone to say, "Oh, you just ripped off Wooden Potatoes theory." We might come up with the same thing or something similar, but I don't ever want to. Personally, for me, but I mean, like, because I like coming up with ideas and stuff, and I just wouldn't feel bad if someone was like, "That's the same idea." And I mean, granted, there's only so many possibilities. I mean, and I mean, apart from me trying to pull the Abaddon card, because that's just what I do. Half of those theories aren't real. They could happen, though. ArenaNet, call me.
It could happen, yes. Yes, it's true. But, like, it's literally Arene's dead or Aurene comes back. That's literally the only two things. Well, those are the only two flags that you can pull right now.
Yeah, but I think what like they're saying Wooden Potatoes is like was mentioning, does that cheapen the death, or does it make the episode filler? Which I kind of want to go back and say, like, because I think it's important to lead up with the stuff. Like the first instance you do is Scion and Champion, which involves you guys like you go see Ogden. He basically says you guys got to test yourselves before you go to Thunderhead Peaks. Sorry, I almost said keep again. And so you go into Glint's lair again and have some more tests. And there's also the dead body of Glint in there, first off. So, sheesh.
She preserves well.
Yeah. Well, she's all crystal. Worst part is I took a picture of that. Oh, God. We took a picture of me, Aurene and Glint's body all just like family photo. And that was depressing.
That's terrible.
Even more depressed. I mean, yeah, she's.
That's terrible.
Oh, yeah, she was shiny.
What's
I couldn't
great is that
resist.
you realize this like
Yeah, I just realized. I was like, oh man. Wait, I was dressed as a dragon. Does that mean I die in the next one?
oh man. That makes you look like a poacher at that point.
um, but you know they have you run through trials, and there's also like these crystals that are almost like they're like messages from Glint to us and also Aurene, which I think is also the important thing that at a certain point, because you basically throughout the thing try to learn how to. You saw a little bit in POF and stuff like that leading up to it, where you guys can kind of utilize the magic together and create powerful magical blasts. You
Yeah.
basically utilize that more and fine tune it, but eventually it kind of Glint's recording says, "Aurene, I have things that I need to tell you that only a dragon can know," or something along those lines. She goes off into a seven portal, and then she talks to you about apparently Kralkatork had visions of basically a world that didn't have Kralkatork in it, and you know everybody was happy and everything was peaceful and all that stuff. And he was trying to have Glint make it so that wouldn't happen, type thing, or something like that, and all this stuff. And but I think the question is, what did she tell Aurene?
It's like, listen, kid, you're gonna die.
Hold on. But because well, when we get to a theory, but I have a theory.
Sure.
I have a theory that we could get Aurene back, and I have theories that, if depending on how they want to go. But yeah, so that's kind of the silent champion thing. Then you kind of regroup and play more with like the utilizing the power and charging crystals, because that becomes important later. But you make it through. You prove yourselves as Scion and Champion. So then you head to Thunderhead Peaks. And then I think the next part is getting the dragon's blood weapons, like reforging them. Which I if I'm not mistaken, that's basically where you're kind of just running around the map trying to do things for the different groups.
Yeah, it's trying to set up for the fight.
Yeah.
Because at this point, we realize we need to pull in Kralkatork because he's getting too far. He's eating all the ghosts in Domain of Lost, and we have to stop him before things go too far. Because going into the mist, not a good sign. So we're going around trying to get provisions to make dragon blood weapons, trying to prepare for the attack on Kralkatork as well. And so we talked to Dredge, we talked to Sidra for supplies, and I think one other thing as well.
And chat was saying, and I remember they said that in Guild chat that, yeah, like basically the first part of episode 5 and the last part of episode 5 that is sandwiched with 2 dead dragons. Glint's body and then Aurene's. So yeah, I do remember them saying that was pretty much deliberate choice.
Yeah. And now I'm starting to think of all the scenes with Aurene in this episode that made me think, like, did she accept her own death? Because at that point when you're first about to fight Kralkatork, she was very nervous. I'm like, yeah, you have a right to be nervous. You're gonna fight another dragon.
Yeah, you try to cheer her up and you're like, we can do it. We're like, you're raising her morale, like, we're in this together. It's us against the world. Like, we're awesome. We're the, like trying to cheer her up. And then by the end, you're like, ah.
Yeah. You feel it. And that's another facet, right? Because if you were really in tune with that feeling, you kind of felt like you let her down. And I did feel that somewhat because, like, we kind of kind of led her to her own death. And it felt really bad. It was very interesting to kind of just a side note to all this, like because the thing with Timey, because ever since her condition was known, like everyone was kind of babying her to some degree, even us, even though we weren't. We were.
We were like, are you gonna be okay? And she's like, really? Like, you too?
Yeah. So I kind of felt something would happen with Timey.
Yeah.
I wonder if that was just like
it was a nice misdirection, because they are like
yeah.
the one sickly like person that's having real issues. A lot of people are focusing on her, and there's all these cool things that are happening on Irene, like in the next episode or in the next section, which was the Crystal Blooms. She actually gets a voice now, which, you know, will explain it. But like, because basically in the Crystal Blooms, like we constructed the Dragon Blood weapons, so we have those at the ready to hopefully fight Kralkatork. The Crystal Blooms, we basically Irene, we meet up with like the gang, and Irene shows up, and I forget what makes him a little bit scared, but it's basically Keith comes over and says, I'm going to bond with her or something like that, and Irene basically corrupts Keith, and they actually say this in there, like, I forget who says it, but they're like, she's corrupting Keith, and she says, like, no, corruption is by like force or something like that, like I've accepted it, we're communing or something like that. And Keith now can speak through, or like she can speak through Keith or something like that now.
Yeah.
Which I was like, oh man, she's getting into the Elder Dragon-esque mentality of being able to. Oh yeah, it isn't corruption, it's connection. That's it.
Yeah.
Neko, you're saying that there is no chance that Timey will die. Maybe because it's more humanoid, I could see that. But
no, she's gonna die either in the story or due to her illness.
But what I was gonna say, like, that was an adolescent dragon. That was a teenager like that was a teenager itself. Like, that wasn't an adult. Like, you know, it's not like they're not afraid to kill off young things.
It's not like, yeah. No, well, I think it's really does it really depend on game rating?
Maybe, I don't know.
I don't remember.
But
I'm 95% I was with Bliss was when I just give her the idea to put her brain in scroll. I mean, that's also a possibility that she could do. I don't know if you would want to do that though. Right? Because when Bliss was turned off,
yeah,
that is terrifying. It's like
maybe she comes up with this very, like, maybe she comes to this crossroads of, do I physically live forever in a golem that when it's off there's nothingness? Or she just saw Snaff and, you know, in the previous episode, and a lot of spirits returning with some form of sentience. Like, it's not like they're replaying like events in their head. Like, I mean, in that instance, we see Gwen come back. Like, she's just as a ghost, and she's like trying to lead the fight, and for Glint herself, like, you know, talking about Glint, the forces and stuff. So maybe this opens an Asuran's idea to the eternal alchemy of maybe not just afterwards there's nothing, like there's actually a spirit afterwards type of deal that's still sentient.
Yeah, that's very possible. Remember, she called them beautiful when they met. I think Timey had a thing for Blish. But
yeah, and she was a big fan of the mechanical work. But yeah, I think that might ultimately be the crossroads she wants to go down, is like, does she continue on working on her stuff and maybe live forever, but have this weird, you live forever, but you can also, like, there's also that nothingness or like death, like,
yeah,
you know,
well, she has the option, right? Because she knows that it is possible to do. Is she willing to do that? That's the thing. Mm.
But yeah, so it's kind of crazy that the whole Chris, like, so she was able to corrupt. Well, I'll refer to it as corruption in the sense of, because it's kind of the same method that the dragons do utilize. But it was a more willing, like we said, a connection. But
Fuse.
a fusion.
Fusion. Ha.
That's the next step. Come on. But yeah, it was kind of interesting to see like important ghost return, and that's the interesting thing is like when you go in that instance, like for people that probably are familiar with Guild Wars 1 and maybe a little bit of the Guild Wars 2 certain spots, you realize that one ghost was Gwen. But it was just listed as, I think, Mist Ghost or something. Like it didn't have a name. It just, or it was like General or something like. But so if you don't know who it was, you probably just don't even
Wait, the one who was reporting on the Mist?
Yeah.
Oh wow, I did not register that.
Yeah, if you look at that hair, that had to be Gwen, or they just reused the assets weirdly. But I think people asked, and they were like, I think on Guild Chat they were like, yeah, it pretty much was. I'm pretty sure someone asked. But
neat.
Yeah,
I plan to go play through the story again.
Oh yeah, I probably will go back too, because I even when I was watching Guild Chat saw a couple things I missed just by playing and not realizing. But yeah, cool. And that was the other interesting thing was, like Chad is saying, was Logan was right around the corner. It's like, yeah, like that's what I was curious about. I was like, did he see you, or like it?
Well, speaking of Logan, I want to talk about the NPCs that really didn't have anything, because apparently Rox was around, but I don't remember any lines from her. Maybe during the battle there were Casimir and Marjorie, no sign of them.
Well, I think there was dialogue somewhere saying that Casimir and Marjorie were supposedly helping people evacuate, like like towns or whatever.
I don't remember that one. Okay, that's fair.
But yeah, I don't know about Rox, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like this is a huge fight. Everyone should be involved. But yeah, that makes sense then, with at least Marjorie and Casimir. What else could I pull from the story? I don't know. Like, where do you think we're gonna go from here?
Well, this kind of leads into like a couple of my theories and stuff, but like I think it's important to talk about the rest of the episode with the whole resonance. Basically, we utilize the Zephyrite singing with the crystals to help utilize and weaken Kralkatorrik.
Okay.
And we kind of get help from the dredge. Like this is like a reunion. Like this has everybody. It's like I think even if they're in Guild Chat, I didn't get to see it, but they even said during the meta, you actually see Skritt carrying in a crystal like on like pigback or something like that. Like, which like I said, I definitely want to go back and check it out. But it had everybody.
Nice. Which
I think is such an important thing, and I'm very curious of how they're going. Like, is this the bookend? Like, I guess this can be the bookend of Kralkatorrik, because he does eventually fly away.
Yeah.
But, we do the whole resonance thing, and that kind of leads into the Crystal Dragon part, where we basically, our plan is to lure him into the keep, trap him and shoot him with these crystals that have the resonating and all that stuff, and blast it with the energy that we learned from the Scion and Champion from Glint's Lair with Aurene. So all this stuff has to play out, and we have like a little plan where we're jumping to 3 different points. And like I said, during that instance, and this is the one that Age was talking about at the beginning, Krakator's huge. Like all we see is the head. I mean, or I guess like the head and the neck, because it's just a lot of neck. But it's a lot of like flying over top of it. Like you get a lot of good angles on them, but the idea around is you have to charge these crystals and then blast them, and then it weakens them, and you can bash them. It's at one point, I think it's the last transition where he does the big powerful attack where he shoots his beam, and like you have to, well, if you're smart, you hide behind Bram's shield. If you were too gung-ho and jump down before to go hit the weak spot, and then they say, oh no, he's charging up, and you don't make it back to the shield, it downs you. Not that I know from experience.
I heard, oh, he's charging up. I was shooting me. I'm like, okay, Springer right back to the.
See, I keep forgetting about my mounts, but I was like in mid glide. Like I think I just landed right to like the ledge, and it's like he's charging up. I'm like, wait, what? Wait, what? He's not coming.
Yeah, because I think
I was this like, close though.
I was halfway there, so I'm like, oh, he's charging up. It's like, wait, what? I'm saying, oh, looking around, what?
I was ready. I had the rhythm down. Arena tricked me. I had the rhythm down. I was like, I shot the beam. I'm like, I'm gonna be like a raider. I shot the beam, jumped down to get ready to fight this guy. I landed. It's like, oh no, he's charging up. I'm like, wait, what? What? Did you? What? No, he's supposed to be down here.
Oh, I think I went for spears because I think I was short. Because I shot the cannon and I went for spears and I heard he's charging up. I'm like, I'm pretty much halfway, I think, at that point. Instead of just being where you were. So maybe that's what I got.
What I didn't see, I saw in guild chat, but I didn't realize. Like, I think leading up to that, they also say that the his minions are regenerating because he's utilizing Zaitan's power. I think there's a dialogue there. But what I didn't realize, and I saw it on guild chat, and I definitely want to go back and check it out, is when he powers up, apparently what looks like an aspect of Zaitan, an aspect of Morgemoth, and an aspect of Balthazar like light up around him, and then he shoots his beam.
Ooh.
Like I said, I saw it during the guild chat, and I was like, wait, what was that? Like, that's important. I was too busy running for my life.
Yeah, exactly. But
yeah, I guess the Krakator squad, as the chat's calling it. But squad. That is, I think, one of the more interesting parts of this. And like I said, then it leads to a more personal one-on-one fight where it's, well, one-on-two fight. It's basically you and Aurene running up to Krakator and just kind of keep fighting him to a point that you get him so low and you're just damaging his eye. You get him so low that all of a sudden he just, with a wounded eye, it's just a scene where he just leans back, starts blasting, shoots a beam at you, and then Ari just flies in, shoots a beam at him, and that explosion just creates what leads into probably what a lot of people are dealing with, is like you come to and you're just slowly walking down this like crystalline corridor, and like there's just allies next to you just like crying and like, you know, what are we gonna do, blah blah blah, and you turn the corner and sure enough there's Aurene just punctured with crystals, and that's the worst part, is then you hear Bram go, what do we do now? And it just cuts to black and goes, I don't know.
Yeah,
the feels.
Walk of sadness.
Yes.
But now I think about it, I think Aurene actually saved a lot of people by doing that, honestly, because I think a lot more people would have died. But oof. But insect size Aurene flying around huge ass Croc, like, I mean, if God of War can make it happen, and Shadow Colossus, games like that, I mean, anyway. Yeah, I think Nocturna has the right idea in terms of threat to Krakator. If there's any threat, there was Glint, Blast, and Rain. Um, Other than that, I don't think there's much of any other threat. Maybe Balthazar was, maybe, but
Now,
um,
see what, and like you were kind of saying, where do we think the story is gonna go?
yeah.
Like, and I see one or two ways, and I like because while I was like, I think leading up to it, like I was always like, yeah, Arene, it's a dragon, it's cool type thing, blah blah blah. But she was getting her legs and she was getting everything, in that story, and it's like, oh, she's thriving, and then that happened. I'm like, what the? She got all this cool stuff this episode, and we off like so.
Mhm.
I don't think she's gone. The theory I want to run with, see, and this is where I'm torn is, and I think this is what chat was bringing up, and like what a lot of people brought up is, if they somehow undo this,
Oh, cheapening the episode.
yeah, and like the death makes it pointless.
Um, I don't think they'll like res her in the next like episode, right? Because that would make it feel a little cheap.
Yeah,
Um, I don't, I don't think it cheapens the episode, whatever, because they went for impact this episode, right? And I'm pretty sure it delivered in that respect. So if it takes like a lot of effort to bring Irene back, I think it's totally fine. I don't think it cheapens the episode whatsoever.
well,
I'm trying to think. I'm
I
trying to think.
I have
Like
a good.
I was just about to say, look at Lord of the Rings, like Gandalf, right there.
True.
That's a perfectly good
Uh,
example.
and that's equivalent of a little tiny dragon fighting a giant Kralkatork is a human fighting a Balrog, like stabbing the Balrog on the way down.
Yeah.
Um, are you
I don't
saying in
think
that cutscene we need to slow down the cutscene and see if she turns around and goes, "Run, you fools"?
yeah.
And yeah, that is important, like Netco said, and like we were talking about in the first part, is we learned Kralkatork also had that the ability to see the future too, and he's raising Netco's raising the question: did Kralkatork see his victory, or did he just play with us all this time? Or
I think Kralkatork is getting like consuming all this magic. If that's the case, he saw the vision. He's consuming all this magic so he'd be an unstoppable force because he fears something, right? No, like you only go for more power to stay at the top. I don't see why you would need more power unless you want or unless you fear something.
true.
No.
Um,
Yeah.
um,
Um,
saddest thing for chat was we were the ones that had to send Oreen to her death. Yeah, and see that's why I'm torn. Like I like the theory that I came up with, but I don't want it to cheapen the death because I'm fighting for Irene. I want her to come back. Her and Abaddon. Abaddon come riding on Irene going, "We're back, bitches." He's doing the never ending story. Abaddon's riding Irene going, "Yeah, yeah."
dear Lord.
No, that wasn't my theory. Just for the record, though it could be
You heard it
ArenaNet.
here first. Dale's theory.
Though it could
Um,
be ArenaNet. Call me.
um, I honestly don't know how we're gonna go through this because if Irene doesn't, if Irene's like permadead, right? I do not know what facet of power we need in order to defeat this dragon. I don't know if Kralkatork's in a super weak state now that we pummeled the crap out of him. I'm not sure if uh, Marjorie or Casimir will find a way, or anything like, or like someone will find a way to do it. but there is still that vision of Sidra that happened, and I don't know if she'll play an integral part. Was it Sidra? Was her name? The
No, isn't that
Balthazar? No,
that's the
that's the
ship.
pirate.
Yeah.
Yeah. The basically the Balthazar's apprentice. There's still that vision. I feel like she'll still play a huge integral part in all this. But as for right now, I really don't know what's going to happen. And I think
Our
that is great.
Arene Revenant Legend for next X Pack. I don't know if they'll ever do two. You could just family power. Like you just have Clint as the first one, Arene as the second one. They just feel like they say Glint's like, I knew all this would pan out as I foresaw it, or however her line is. And it's like, Arene's like, I did too. Like I'm second too. I saw it as well.
Yeah. But I it's so hard to say what's going to happen next because like I just don't know. I don't know. Like, how do I beat this dragon? Do I put him to sleep?
Okay. Well.
Okay.
What if? And this is what I'm curious about. How would you feel if the next living story, the next season, didn't exist in the sense of it didn't actually happen on Tyria? Like, what if it was a dreamscape?
No.
Well, kind of in the sense of no. Think about it.
Don't you matrix me?
The two forces that fought were Kralkatork and Arene. Kralkatork used the power of Zaitan, Morjamoth, and Balthazar. Arene was infused, as much as we know, was infused with at least Morjamoth's power.
Okay.
Who could create, was also part of the mind as well. Like could utilize the mind and trickery and kind of that kind of stuff as well. Which is also one thing that they tried to use on Kralkatork originally with Destiny's Edge. It just didn't work because no one protected Snaf. But he was actually fighting against it and actually doing well, but unfortunately had no protection. What if Arene's blast created this alternate universe? Like, what if right now we're just fighting? Like, this is all a manifestation of Kralkatork's reality. He won. That's why he flew off away from us. He thought we were dead. He saw us as all dead.
Oh, that's smart. Oh, that's good. I like that.
Because the only thing that tips the scale is Arene's power that is Morjamoth infused. So that tips the scale as to... And maybe we come out and Arene's not dead. That's what I'm hoping for.
Oh, so you're saying like right after that blast, Arene just made that whole thing. Oh,
like it's just so all good. And like maybe the next story where we're actually, because now we're now fighting in Kralkatork's mind, where now we have we're now angry, we're pissed. So we're gonna like maybe we fight more like Kralkatork and defeat him in his mind, which was the plan all along with Destiny's Edge.
I was thinking, oh man, what you said had me thinking. It's like, what if Arene put up this vision in Kralkatork's mind that like you won, you don't have to do anything else, you can leave, but she's actually alive somewhere, and she made us think she's dead for some reason. I don't know.
Well, and that's why it leads me to say this is she actually created that beam. And there's that explosion, and that's why he flew off. Is he truly believed that he won? Arene's somewhere still alive, but in this realm of their reality, she's not. But it inspires us to go after Kralkatork and finish him off in his mind. That would ideally was the original plan all along to eliminate him.
We would find out next episode. Honestly, if that was the case.
This is some lost level stuff. And there's a polar bear.
There's a polar bear.
But it's in the middle of the desert. How did it get in the middle of the desert? It's a polar bear.
That's crazy. Yeah, I like the theory, though. That's pretty.
Well, and they're saying Arena is infused with Morjamoth, Zaitan, about. Well, technically, all we've seen is Morjamoth's infusion go into Arene's egg. We don't know. We assume Zaitan's did.
A little bit of Balthazar.
And yeah,
And
probably
definitely,
Balthazar and of course Joko.
I don't know about Zaitan. Uh,
But yeah, I've seen a lot. And that's the other thing is, Zaitan
oh,
and Morjamoth.
wait,
They are the dragons of life and death. So is Joko. Like could like somehow come back. What if that's another aspect of bring her back? But I don't. I really like the whole like we kind of go through a season thinking like she's gone, she's dead. And then we finally kill, and all of a sudden like illusions shatter, and it's like, wait, what?
yeah. The only thing that kind of breaks it is if Kate's flower kind of disintegrated. I don't know if Aurene breaks the connection in that case, in case of your theory, but hmm, hmm. That's a cool theory. I like it. See what
But
happens.
yeah, when I thought of that, I was like, oh, that's it. And I was like, then Aurene can come back, hopefully. but honestly, in reality, it's like while I am gutted about the whole Aurene thing, kudos to Arena for doing it. I mean, it is good.
Yeah, no,
It was an excellent story. I think it's
yeah, definitely. Oh, one thing we didn't talk about, which is kind of sidetracking from literally everything, is the Zephyrite choir,
yeah.
which I found was like the night, like the coolest, one of the coolest parts of the story, because it's the first time you enter Thunderhead's Keep, you hear this whole choir in the back of your head. And it's like I actually stopped and took some time to like just walk around, but mostly listen to the music. And I think there was a really good way to introduce the Thunderhead Peak.
Zacharias, we briefly talked about that. I think there was some dialogue or something that was assumed that Marjorie and Casimir were helping people evacuate towns near the battle. But and that was also what Age brought up was like rocks. Like she really didn't have too much to speak or do. Like so. But yeah, it's I don't know. I've been sitting on that. I'm like, I think that would be a I don't know. I could see that angering a lot of people. Like especially if it's like the whole next season, because it's like, oh, so all that was for nothing. But in reality, it was like that's how we had to kill Krakatork. Because
It's like,
that's the other thing is this could have been something Glint told Aurene to do because
mm-hmm.
they separated. There, maybe she said you have these powers of the drag. Like this is what each of these dragons can do. Like maybe she knows. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how much intel other certain dragon minions have on other like I don't know how deep the knowledge well goes for that, but if
yeah,
she would know, it would be her.
that's cool. Yeah, that's a cool theory.
But yeah, I don't know. I would like to see it, but I could see that being like people being like, "What? This was all fake" or something like that. Or
Yeah, but man, that is a cool theory. I like it. Um, both can come back in the story as it goes. I think it's not likely.
that and that is a good point, Nocturna. About like I just didn't. I remember them saying that in Glint's crystal thing of like talking about ascension and there's more to it, and I missed Ogden's Lich comment, but
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, you could in theory think Glint may be ascended because she kind of has some kind of stream of consciousness in the mist because she has her forces that are fighting Kralkatork, and it's so maybe that's how they're referring to as ascension. Like, so maybe she does come in ghost form, or maybe she comes back. I played fetch with this thing. I don't want it to die. I didn't play fetch with Timey.
I think she would approve of that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
She Aurene was always up for it. I went to that instance. She was ready to play ball.
yeah. There's a lot. I think it's in all the story was good in terms of the direction they went, and it's also good because people just come up with all these different theories about how things could go, how Irene could come back, things like that, etc., etc. But I think making us have, I think, good story also in a game where you can cause such reaction like this. Like I saw some stream reactions, um, and just causing an effect, or causing people, like I know Dora was like, yes, it's like I appreciate the fact that we lost, and things like that. Like I think that's really good, and I think that's a good indicator that you're going in a good direction in terms of your storytelling, in terms of having impact. So
Definitely.
I'm
And I
really
know
interested.
we're running low on time here, so this might be a good place to cut it here. Just so we'll do a little bit of an after show, but I know Age has to get going. Um, but and like I said, I feel like we're kind of dwindling here, but we can definitely talk about it after show. I'm sure next week when hopefully we have Robin and Jim back, I'm sure we'll talk about it again.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, oh, I think ultimately kudos to ArenaNet. Like I said, go watch Guild Chat, because while I think in other times you can see their love and passion behind it, I think this one was so important. This is what I kind of wanted to say was this wasn't just 6 years in the making of Guild Wars 2. This was set up in the books. Like this is huge. This is awesome. This like
Yeah,
going after
it's
Kalkatorix. So
it's a big milestone.
yeah, so awesome to them, and I can't wait to see where it goes. But death has
Yeah.
never been a significant thing in Guild Wars franchise, though. True, they always come back in some form.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but I don't want a Lich Dragon. I played fetch with it. Anyway, let's do a proper outro for the people that stuck around. So, Age, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitch or YouTube at ANet Road. I will again. I'll put out the legendary look on Ferris either tomorrow Sunday or Monday, uh, and I'll try to stream a little bit of the map, and I'll try to do a bit of roaming because I haven't done it in a while. And yeah,
Awesome. And you can find me at simply_Dale on Twitch and Twitter. This past week was doing a little bit more streaming. Of course, we did the Living World stuff. You can see the brainwave activity thing for that. I'll try to highlight it here. I don't know if I'm going to export them to YouTube. I just don't really bother with YouTube on a personal account that much anymore. But also played some Destiny 2. Hopefully we'll hop into some more of that. Tons of different games. But yeah, jeez. This episode, fantastic. If you are just popping at the very end, do stick around. We do a bit of an after show. If you want to watch this, we do highlight it on Twitch, which is twitch.tv/MAADrealms, 2 A's in the MAAD. If you want to watch this in full on YouTube, if that's your preferred method, we put that up on Sundays at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific at youtube.com/MAADrealms, 2 A's in the MAAD, of course. If you want to find us all in one nice little package, if you want to see Vote to Kick, when we just Malthana has just recorded Keeper Kick Fallout 76, so I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on that, especially with some of the new stuff that just dropped on people. Yeah, so you can go to our website. It's just maadrealms.com, and that's 2 A's in the MAAD. That's very important for that. And that's where we actually have the audio version of this podcast, and like I said, Vote to Kick, the video version of this. Those usually go up right around when it goes up on YouTube, so Sunday at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. And yeah, where are we gonna go from here? I don't know. But it's definitely gonna be fun.
it's gonna be a meme.
Yeah. Good night, everybody.
There it is.